A massive thank you to King, Normix, Eduardo and Marcin for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to the penultimate round of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode here, back with the Season 1 Australian Grand Prix. Now, of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video, late race drama in Brazil. The last couple of races have been absolute bangers as well. You know, go back and check that out. It'll be linked on the top right-hand side of your screen. Yeah, definitely make sure you go back and check that one out as we head in towards Australia this weekend. Very, very weird. It was before I started watching Formula 1. The Australian Grand Prix, of course, was so late into the year. We obviously had the confirmed rule changes for Season 2. That's all sorted, all ready to go, ready for next season as well, so we don't have to worry about that. The engine is looking alright as well for the most part. Most part's pretty low wear still at this stage of the campaign. We want to try and get to the end of the year, of course, with no more engine penalties there. And you can see championship-wise, Hamilton and Bottas, nothing between them as we head into Australia this weekend there. Verstappen, there is a huge battle going on between Verstappen, both Red Bulls, both McLarens and both Ferraris in, of course, both the Drivers and the Constructors' World Championship as well, of course. So there's still a lot to play for. Let's dive in to the Australian Grand Prix weekend. Are we going to be able to get anything sorted? We've got a fair bit of R&D points as well as we head into this weekend, so fingers crossed all the upgrades will go on the car.
Without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Things you love to see. So, we need to get a couple more... right. So that's another unprotected part then that we've just sorted out. So that was good that we spotted that. We can also go with the pistons, or we can go with a reshaped combustion chamber. That should be ready for Abu Dhabi next time round. So yeah, we've got to keep on top of that, of course. We're still trying to do upgrades. We have got to be careful, of course, that we don't then get upgrades that can't be sorted ready for the Grand Prix. So that's going to be all of that sorted.
We've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Right, so that's all good then. We can also go with the gearbox reliability testing. So that's going to be all sorted. Do we have... Oh, we got another part there. So we need to get the turbo improved materials. We can do that right now. So that should be all sorted then as we head in towards the final couple of races of the year. We've got a couple more upgrades in the works. You can see AlphaTauri have just about jumped ahead of us again. But we have still got 4 more upgrades going on the car here before the end of the year. Let's dive in to the Australian Grand Prix. Very, very weird heading to Albert Park knowing it's not the start of the year here for the Australian Grand Prix. I almost called it the Adelaide Grand Prix. That'd be very, very weird here in Melbourne. Of course, we don't have the new updated... Well, it's going to be for next year anyway now. Australian Grand Prix circuit just yet on the F1 games, so unfortunate about that. Ooh. Didn't realise I'd pressed downshift there. But yeah, fingers crossed obviously this weekend. We'll get into a good rhythm still. Australia generally, I've struggled with pace before just because normally we've had new upgrades on the car and everything like that. So fingers crossed this year won't be the same as already. Yeah, struggling a bit with the balance on this opening lap. We'll see what we can do. Coming towards the end of our practice programs though, unfortunately, yeah, the AI, as I think it's been well documented now, very, very OP through the fast corners. In Australia, a lot of track corners around here are fast corners. Unfortunately, they're really struggling with the balance as well, so hopefully that sorts itself out for qualifying. But yeah, practice has not been fun.
Good. We need you to improve on that.
Thanks for that, Jeff. Love you too, buddy. Right, here we are then, qualifying day for the Australian Grand Prix, and if free practice is anything to go by, not feeling too great around this circuit here today, but we'll see what we can muster up in the car anyways. We get a little bit loose and lively at the final corner to start our first run. Fingers crossed though, we can find a little bit more in the car. There's a threat of rain throughout a lot of the weekend as well, and generally we're pretty good in the rain so far in F1 2021, at least in qualifying trim anyway, so fingers crossed that can play in our favour just a little bit more this weekend. Then we can just see the curbs around here as well have been altered slightly now, a lot slower. You can't attack any of them in the same way you used to be able to on some of the older F1 games. But fingers crossed. You know, we are slowly learning. Ooh, That's a little bit aggressive over that curve there. But yeah, just struggling to find the right setup, the right balance this weekend. So I think we're just going to have to go with this and pray we can hang on in there. It worked for us at Kota. Right, round in the final couple of corners then. To finish off our opening lap. Let's see what time we put on the board. Carlos Sainz says an 18.8. We're going to be nowhere near that. It's going to be a 20.8. Slower than Russell, slower than Tsunoda by a second. We're definitely going to have to go out again. Right, heading out then for our second run here in Q1. Fingers crossed now we can try and find a little bit more pace. I've just seen the flash. There is the rain. So this might be the last chance we get.
Until this rain evens out. Stay alert out there.
Oh, this might be us out in Q1. We might not have timed this run very well as we head through the first couple of corners. Let's just see if there's still enough grip on the track this time round to try and match our time there. Shouldn't affect us too badly at the start of the session. That was a bit tidier through there as well. So we are now up into the green, but half a second to our teammate Schwartzman is going to be very, very difficult to find there, especially if the track is getting wetter and wetter. Big kick of oversteer as we head out of Sector 1. But we're still finding a little bit of time, but we've got to absolutely nail it. We're barely green as well. This so far has been the weekend from hell for us, especially after the end of the Brazilian Grand Prix, of course, yesterday. A massive thank you, though, for all the continued support on the videos. They've been doing really, really well for the last few days. Oh, no, that's qualifying over. Tried to tip it in with the same sort of confidence.
Rear wing is damaged. You can expect a lot of oversteer unless we bring you in and fix it.
Yeah, definitely. The grip was going away there.
It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
Yeah, there was way too much speed into there. I tried to take the same sort of grip as we could in the dry, and yeah, the track's just getting worse and worse at this stage of the session there. So that's qualifying over for us, and I think, yeah, unless someone can somehow improve, P20 on the grid. Well, looking at the end of the session there, Verstappen actually fastest in his Red Bulls. That's not bad going by him, but Schwartzman does sneak through into Q2 in the end there, despite having a slightly... Hey? I don't know how he's managed that, but fair play to Schwartzman, he does make it through. We were only 4 tenths off in the end. I thought actually we were a little bit slower than our teammate than that. But P20 on the grid, not quite what we wanted this weekend, but points are given out in the race. Let's do this thing.
Hello and welcome from Albert Park, Australia for today's race, and I think it's shaping up to be a classic. We're a stone's throw from the enormous Port Phillip Bay for today's race at the 3.3-mile Albert Park circuit. It's a bumpy racing surface here, and the 16 corners could prove especially difficult in the wet conditions. Watch out for a safety car at some point during the Grand Prix. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, Vettel, Hamilton, Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Schwartzman, Pierre Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Leclerc, Russell, Mr. Monaco, Nicholas Latifi and Mick Schumacher. Stroll, they've taken a grid penalty, Mazepin, Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Australian Grand Prix, ranked 19 of the year here, and it's looking like a wet to dry one here today then. So Inters, hopefully then we'll be able to get those to some soft running later on in the Grand Prix. Yeah, luckily the rain is meant to stop, but about half distance here in Melbourne Park then. So 28.5 laps worth of fuel in the car. We are going to underfuel it ever so slightly. We're up to P16 though, thanks to more and more grid penalties here. Bottas has got a golden opportunity as well this weekend to really try and take some points out of Lewis Hamilton as well, of course. But ready on the grid, round 19 of the year, 2 races to go of the F1 2021 career mode. It's 5 red lights and it's lights out, and away we go off to a wheel spinny start. Come on, get the power down. That has been a horrendous start as we head down towards turn 1, as Latifi's going to go for a big old... Schumacher even is going to go for a big old dive. Whoa, as we get a little bit of contact with Latifi. A little bit unsettled out of turn 1 there, just getting hung out to dry, and that's been a horrendous start for us. The same can be said for Mazepin, who's down into last place. Let's try and win some of these spots back. Down in towards the second chicane there, a little bit of contact with young Nicholas. We have got away with that one, I think, this time around there. Both Alpha Towers going side by side out of Sector 1. Sweet. Oh, look at the understeer there. That was ridiculous out of the first sector. But, yeah, hopefully now we'll try and warm up these tyres, get some heat into them. The AI always seem to be able to switch on the intermediates and wets really, really early into a race in the last couple of F1 games here. So we'll wait and see as to what happens today. Almost into the back of Latifi there. A nice double lock-up. Yeah, really just not feeling comfortable with the car this weekend. So we get another kick of wheel spin on the exit there. Stroll's now going to try and look round the outside. So we head down in towards the chicane here. Surely not from the Canadian. No, he bails out of that one. So a little bit out of shape on the way in, but we do get the run on the way out. So we've only lost the 2 places off the start there, and considering we were down in P21 out of turn 1, I think we'll have to take it. Getting a decent run though on Latifi as we start lap 2 of this race. Maybe it might be a bit vulnerable. So we head down in towards turn 3. He's on the power nice and tidy. We're going to use a bit of battery. See if we'll get close enough to go for a little bit of a send. Nah, not this time round. This time round we're able to stick a bit closer to Latifi out of the first couple of corners. Surely now we'll have to go for a bit of a send. Don't want to get stuck behind the Williams. Oh, big lock up. Very, very aggressive. I apologise to Nicholas about that. But it's a send. It's been sent. And we're now over to P17.
P17.
Yay! I think Schwartzman, though, our teammate. I think... Sorry, yeah, before I almost do bad things to my underwear. Where on earth have we gone with that? Anyway, Schwartzman, yeah, back to the story. Is in P10 still. He's in the points early on. No idea how he's managing that, but fingers crossed he can stay there. Schumacher very much getting unsettled out of the final corner. We're taking good time out of the young German.
The teammate ahead is 4.6 seconds.
Our teammate Schwartzman, only 4.6 up the road as well. So we are definitely settling down into a decent rhythm. Wonder when the rain's meant to stop.
The rain's easing off a bit, but the track is still going to be wet for a while. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
I was thinking more a number, Jeff, rather than just obvious facts, but there we go. Yeah, we'll see if we can try and challenge Schumacher, though, over the next couple. Oh, yellow flags, that's Schumacher! Schumacher's out of the Grand Prix, so I wonder why he was going a bit slower.
Okay,
that clearly answers it.
Let's get back up to racing speed.
Schumacher out of the Grand Prix by the looks of it. I think that was an engine blow-up, but in pretty undramatic fashion. Unless it has gone pop now properly. But yeah, heartbreak for Schumi.
It looks like a virtual safety car is being deployed due to an incident with multiple vehicles being stopped on the track. We need you to drop your pace.
Don't think it's worth pitting this early on. I think the Inters will last either way. To be honest, I think the Inters might go full race distance here if they ever had to. Yeah, probably be pretty close. But yeah, definitely not worth pitting. Virtual safety car now back in again. And you can see on the mini-map the gap to the cars in front of Schwartzman there. Oh, one of the Alphas has got issues. Let's have a look. So Kimi Räikkönen then, coming down the back straightaway. I'm guessing he did pit under that VSC. Has he had an engine failure as well as we head through there? No, Kimi's just completely looped it. Completely by himself. In this Grand Prix there, he's not under pressure, he's trying to catch up, and yeah, Kimi's just dropped it. That's going to mean the Finn has to dive into the pit lane again here. He's been so strong throughout most of his final Formula 1 campaign, but yeah, I'm sure he didn't want to end his last Australian Grand Prix like that. Getting a whole lot closer now to George Russell.
Clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain.
10 more minutes of rain, but yeah, now we've got to try and get a run on George as we head down in towards Sector 3. At the inside, oh, George goes defensive, but we send it up the inside just like we did on his teammate. But I think this time around he's going to come back at us on the exit. And Stroll's going to try and follow him through at the inside, a tiny bit of contact. But Yeah, luckily we do hold on to our position at the very worst. Let's see if we can try and get Russell again. Right, come on then, round 2 against Lance Stroll then, as again we get close to him. This time round we'll have another look at the inside, but he'll try and swing it around the outside this time round. Can we keep the nose there? George even gets caught out all over the curbs, and this time round we do complete the move. Stroll's now tried to follow him through there and actually gone into the back of me. So we head in towards the final couple of corners. So Lance Stroll, yeah, really doesn't want to be stuck behind us for too much longer here. Actually has to dive into the pits because of that, so he's going to be even further back then in this Grand Prix. But now we've got about a 2.5 second gap to Charles Leclerc at the road there. Still Schwartzman hangs on in 10th.
Some information on Mazepin. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Oh no! Anyway.
No tyre concerns at the moment. Just focus on the driving.
Almost halfway through this Grand Prix already. The concentration has been mega during the first stint. Just try and keep this thing on the road. The track's definitely starting to get drier though. But trying to find a window now past the likes of Charles Leclerc and Tsunoda. It's going to be very, very difficult indeed. We could try and think about going for a send at some point, but we'll have to be a little bit closer than that. Probably within a 3/10 window to even consider something like that.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE.
Yellow flags.
We will start to see a loss of power.
I think that's George Russell out. Let's have a look then from George Russell. Is the engine smoking? Doesn't seem to be anything. Oh no, there's definitely a few little puffs of smoke there coming out the back of that thing, and that is not a healthy sounding Williams. That might be a gearbox failure actually, by the looks of that. But George Russell, yeah, grinding to a halt, and that is him out here in Australia. Team recommending a new strat. Oh, they're saying mediums now?
Box. We're coming
Surely it's... Oh no, they're saying inters this lap even, sorry. Yeah, it's far too wet still, but we're going to hang on out. Again, let's see what the weather's saying.
We don't think it's going to stay dry for much longer. The rain could come at any moment. Watch out,
Right.
This rain should be ending shortly. The dry line will come in quickly, so don't waste any time getting back up to speed. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
Oh. Whoa. So DRS, actually, yeah, no, they are saying we need to go into the inters then. So F1 2021, you can make the transition.
On the MFD.
You can make the transition really early then on this game. So team is still saying they want us on... Well, we're going to go on to a set of mediums to the end. But, yeah, very, very weird then. No idea what that radio message was, but all kinds of tyre drama then. Here at Albert Park. Is Schwartzman going to dive in the end of this lap, though? So the likes of Latifi, though, is gaining a little bit of time on us at the moment as well. I don't think it's enough to be worried that they might get an undercut. But if anyone has to stay out for another lap here, they are in a world of hurt here in Albert Park. To be honest, I think with how much Latifi's gaining, it's worth just coming in behind our teammate there. Tsunoda's stayed out an extra one. But Leclerc dives into the pit lane.
Robert is in the pits. Robert in the
Make
pits.
sure we get it slowed down nice and tidy. But yeah, Schwartzman into the pits as well, so we are going to have to double stack into the box. But like I said, I think it's a small price to pay at this stage of the Grand Prix there. I think a few other teams have had to do it as well. So I think Hamilton's been sent out a bit further back behind his teammate. Come on! Get on with it! So they're all going out on softs though, so I don't think they're trying to go to the end. Come on! 4.2 is not brilliant though. We might get jumped by Latifi actually as we head back out the pits. We are not in a great place still.
Stay clear of the white
And
line
yes,
on the
we
exit.
have.
We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
So our only hope now is that a lot of these guys won't be able to go to the end. But back out in P17, when you consider pretty much, I think, yeah, all three cars behind us have had issues. It's not great.
The gap to the car ahead is 4.8 seconds.
So there's the gap to Tsunoda then, who sits on the apex out of turn 1. But yeah, we really haven't lost anything to the Japanese driver there, had we not pit.
The car behind is catching you at a rate of about 2 seconds a lap.
So I think, yeah, unfortunately for Tsunoda and I, we were both kind of screwed in this one. Tsunoda, those on softs. Is he going to be able to get those to the end? Surely he can't do half a distance on a soft set of rubber. Oh, we got yellows out. Who's had issues? Let's have a look at the final corner. What's Schwartzman? No! What's happened to our teammate? Well, the closest I can find is Schwartzman just sat in the middle of the road. Oh, I'm guessing the Ferrari hits him. There's no way. Charles Leclerc, how much speed's he got? 77 miles an hour. My money is on Charles Leclerc hitting him here. No! Eh? So Schwartzman's looped it round by himself beforehand and is continuing to loop it round in this Grand Prix. Reverses back across the track, now blocking the pit lane entry, and is kind of just stuck here. There, well, we're about to fly past. There we go. What on earth has happened to our teammate? Must admit, we are pushing like crazy, just try and hang with the guys in front here. The AI are absolutely OP at Australia and Albert Park, it must be said, and I think a lot of it, yeah, is just gained through the chicane there. You can see through the twisty bits, the gap comes back the other way, but down the straights in the dry, yeah, they are just something else on this game. We don't even get the DRS there, because obviously we weren't close enough out of the final corner, but yeah, Giovinazzi needs to have a look past Latifi, otherwise Sonoda, yeah, needs to really try and pull his finger out and get past him, but 11 laps to go.
6.1 seconds. What happened? Let me know you're okay.
Oh my god. I cannot believe we've managed to physicalor it in this Grand Prix. Heading down in towards Termoney, see tip into T1 quite nicely. A little bit of extra curb on the way out, and just there, nudge the grass. And, I mean, that's a complete write-off at the end of the day there. That is a heartbreaking end to our Australian Grand Prix there. I cannot believe how close were we there? You can just see, if we have a look from the off-board, we ride on board through the corner. You can see, I think we just clip the grass on the way out. There we go. Yep, just clip it on the way out there, get over the curbing, and then just skim it there, and that's it. Back end's gone. Nothing we can do there as we just try to push to find more and more time in this Grand Prix. Surprised actually we didn't rip the front off. It was just the rear that came round on us there. We lost the wing. You can see suspension arms flying everywhere as well. Luckily the wheel hanging on by the tethers, but I'm just gutted with that. We've had such a good run of form, and then Brazil, and now this. We need a return in Abu Dhabi next time out. That is truly heartbreaking.
Not just victory today then, but the championship as well. What a spectacular season they've had. Congratulations to the whole team. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Valtteri Bottas takes the top spot. He's our new Drivers' Championship leader after today's result. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Definitely Antonio Giovinazzi, isn't it? No matter what the rest of the field threw at him, he didn't put a foot wrong. Superb drive from him.
The Constructors' Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Australian Grand Prix, and it is Bottas, pole position, race victory. 25 points on the board there. Takes the lead, 16 clear of his teammate Lewis Hamilton. All he needs to do is finish 5th next time out, and he will be Drivers' World Champion. And based on Mercedes' form this year, that doesn't look too difficult as well. Has Bottas finally gone the distance here in Formula 1 there? Verstappen, though, comes through for P2 ahead of Lando Norris, Sainz, Perez and Hamilton there down in P6 with fastest lap. Alonso in 7th ahead of Ricciardo, Vettel and Charles Leclerc there. And you can see both the Frenchmen just missing out. But pretty much all the back market cars, with the exception of Giovinazzi, I really did struggle, and Latifi really, in that Grand Prix there. Latifi still didn't end up losing to Yuki Tsunoda in that Grand Prix there. But Schwartzman went a lap down, Mazepin went a lap down, Raikkonen went a lap down, and of course myself, Russell and Schumacher all not making it to the end of the Grand Prix as well there. It really was just a very, very difficult day there. I mean, Kimi, we watched him drop it before we did, so it wasn't just us, of course, that made that mistake. It was just lucky where he binned it. He only lost the front wing there. But it does mean championship-wise, at the top, though, Bottas, yeah, 16 clear of Hamilton, like we said. He just needs to finish P5 in the Abu Dhabi finale, and he will be Drivers' World Championship there. Sainz gets to jump on his teammate there as Max Verstappen looking pretty solid in P3. Alonso gets to jump on Gasly as well in 11th and 12th there. No other movers further down the order, though. You can see constructors-wise, the Red Bull again jumped McLaren as Ferrari, yeah, fallen way back with just one race to go of the year. There are 3 points between Red Bull and McLaren. Who is going to finish P2 in the Constructors' World Championship as well there? But absolutely gutted with that one at the end of the day there. Like I said, just got a little bit too heavy on the throttle on the exit there. Clipped the grass and it just went straight round on us, and there was nothing we could do in that situation there. Our 4th DNF of the year, of course, 2 mechanical and 2 of our own. But we've got 1 more race to go in Abu Dhabi. Hopefully, we can finish the season with a bang. Be back here, guys, tomorrow. You do not want to miss it. Of course, none of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David, and Ben for becoming channel members. Of course, if you want to be featured in these end clips below, make sure you click that join button and you'll get access to some other exclusive perks as well.